as I was leaving my home, someone broke into my car. This sucks. Good morning, guys. I thought I was gonna come here this morning because it's currently 5:51, and I was just about to leave to get some breakfast and head out to the hospital for clinicals, but as I was leaving my home, someone broke into my car. So that whole plan has been derailed. I've already texted my professor and I told her that I'm more than likely going to be late because someone broke into my car. So yeah. This sucks. This is where they broke in. Let me go around. And this is the broken glass. Thankfully, I'm smart and I don't keep anything of value in my vehicle, so there was nothing for them to take. And I have my suspicions about who did it, but yeah, this is my morning, guys. Police are here too. Good morning. Excuse me while I eat. So, it is now 6:45. I'm supposed to be at the hospital in 15 minutes, but I'm still gonna be late because I need to print some documents because if you watch my other video, you would know that my printer is currently on the fritz, so I have to go to FedEx to print. And I waited until last night to print, so I figured I would just get up early and drive to FedEx and print because I had no issues doing that before. But my car was broken into, so I pushed everything back. I probably would have been on the floor by now, but I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive. My mother was with me. She was getting upset and just kind of like egging me on because I'm about 1,000% sure I know who did this, but I don't have any proof that they did it, so there's nothing I can really do about that. And I'm gonna have to shell out to get the window fixed. Already shelled out a lot of money for things for penning, the NCLEX itself. Anyways, but I don't know, she was just making me feel more upset about it, and I'm trying not to feel like that because I know I have to work this 12-hour shift, and I don't want what happened to me to affect my performance today or the hospital experience my patients will have later on. So I've just decided not to dwell on it and move forward. You know, it's a car window. These things happen. Thankfully, it wasn't worse. I don't keep anything of value in the car. And to all my subscribers that are watching, or anyone that's watching in general, please do not leave anything of value in your vehicle and always lock your doors. That's one thing my mom always taught me because when I was younger, her car used to get broken into all the time because she used to leave valuables in there, and then she learned her lesson. And so now I don't leave anything, like literally anything of value in my car. So I knew immediately once I saw that the car window was broken that there was nothing for them to take unless they want like a pillow or coupons from Burger King. Whatever. They didn't take anything because there's nothing to take unless they wanted my disgusting hospital shoes. I don't think anybody would want those, so I'm not gonna let anybody steal my joy today. My poor car. She's been through so much this year. And you know what? They just keep pushing her and pushing her and pushing her. There were some things I wanted to mention too, just to get my mind off of what happened. So I'll just talk to you guys. In my last couple videos, I mentioned like a B project and an A project. So for leadership, this is a course where we get an actual grade. It's not like a pass or fail system or anything like that. So if you do the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is like show up to class. We had like one class presentation, and you had to do couple of different papers, like little baby papers, and do 1,500 NCLEX questions. So if you did those 4 or 5 things, so do your 1,500 NCLEX questions, the little papers that were due, show up to all the mandatory class lectures, and do your class presentation, you would get a C. Now, if you wanted, and this is a 4-credit course, so if you wanted a B, you had to do all of that, plus you had to do some alternate activity. And the activity that I chose to do was attend the for the board of nursing hearing. And if I did all of that and do my activity, then I would get a B. To get an A, I would have to do all the basics, the papers, 1,500 questions, plus the extra activity. And then on top of that, I had to come up with a group project and present that to the nurses at the hospital where I'm doing my clinicals at. And we decided to do our project on care and maintenance of PICC lines or peripherally inserted catheters. Something, I don't know. I'll insert what PICC stands for. The main floor that we were on, they asked that we just do like a quick project, like in service about PICC line maintenance, because some of the nurses forget like what medications can or cannot be given through a PICC line, or how to properly care for it or clean it, just like a little refresher. So that's what we did for our A project. And the board of nursing hearing that I went to on Wednesday, that was really cool. It was split up into 2 different committee meetings that were being run simultaneously. The first meeting that I went to was mostly dealing with educational issues. The board was hearing individuals who had completed their nursing education in a different country, like the Philippines or maybe Quebec or Spain, and now they were immigrating to America and they wanted to sit for the NCLEX here. And to do that, I guess the board has to equate what their education was in their place of home to how it is in America. So maybe, this is an example, I don't know if this is really accurate, but maybe a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing in Quebec only equates to an Associate's of Science of Nursing in America. Or maybe it does equate to a Bachelor's of Science here. But they look at that and then they also have to compare clinical hours. So like, one thing I noticed was that a lot of the foreign individuals requesting to be able to sit for the NCLEX here didn't have a whole lot of psychiatric experience. That was one thing the board always seemed to mention, that okay, individual A lacks 334 psychiatric clinical hours, individual B is lacking 267. Okay guys, I'm at FedEx. I'm back. Okay, so I printed out what I needed to print out. Still kind of bummed. What a day. One of the nurses did mention that psych in itself is not treated as a separate entity in other nations, not all, but in other nations it's not, as far as nursing is related, it's integrated into their other coursework, whereas in America at least, it's a whole separate course that we have to go through. So it kind of made me ask myself, why does the US educational system do that versus not? Is it because our population just sees more individuals with mental illnesses? Or is it that other nations maybe just approach that particular population in a different way? I don't know. It was just something to think about. It was very interesting. But, you know, not every nurse was allowed to sit for the NCLEX. Some of them had to complete a remediation course. Some of them needed more clinical hours before the board would allow them to take the NCLEX here. So that was the first meeting. And the second meeting dealt more with like health and criminal histories. So like, if you're applying for a new license with the state board, whether that be through examination, so you are sitting down to take the NCLEX, or through endorsement, which means you're licensed in another state and you want the current state that you're applying in to endorse your license, or kind of just like look at your other license as good enough so that you can get a license in that state. If you check yes on any of the questions that ask about a prior criminal history or like prior health history, like maybe you were diagnosed with schizophrenia but you're on your medication, so you're still a functioning member of society, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you had like a DUI on your record or something like that. They may ask you to come to a meeting and explain why that's on your record and why this state should allow you licensure. And you know, not everyone gets a second chance or gets a yes or the answer that they want to hear, but it's just very interesting to learn about this. In my nursing program, we mostly focused on the healthcare aspect of nursing, which is like taking care of patients, etc., etc. And we didn't really spend so much time focusing on nursing in itself as a profession and how it functions and regulates itself as an entity and essentially as a business. So going to the board hearing kind of helped me to solidify that, like, okay, you know, outside of taking care of patients and saving lives, there's still business that needs to be conducted. There's still, you know, administrative things that needs to get done, and they can get done at these meetings. So I would go to another meeting if I, you know, had the time, because they're open to the public, I believe. Like, I mean, I'm clearly there are only nurses there, but and there are also people there who, like, maybe they engaged in like drug activity while they were a nurse and they had their license taken away, or they were reprimanded in some way. So you can get infractions, you know, if you don't think that you as a nurse are invincible. Like, if you decide to drink and drive and that has nothing to do with your nursing career, that can affect you. If you decide to fight and you get an aggravated assault or battery charge, that can affect how you work. So it's real, and it's very accurate when they say you are always representing yourself. You're always a nurse, regardless of whether or not you work as a nurse forever or take a break. Like, still can end up on your record, and you're worse off if you try to hide it from the board of nursing, because they're going to find out anyway when they do a background check. So it's better for you to tell them the truth so that you have an opportunity to plead your case versus attempting to hide it and then letting them find out after the fact, and now you kind of like, you're SOL because you just look shysty, you know? You're hiding things, you're shady, lots of smoke and mirrors. But it was a really fun meeting. There was something else I wanted to mention. Yesterday I paid for the state fee portion of the NCLEX, which is $110 where I live. So I paid for that yesterday. I have yet to, I made an account with the Pearson View, but I haven't paid for it yet. I probably won't pay for it until the documentation is finally sent out from my educational facility that I've successfully completed the program. But I did that yesterday, you know, more money coming out. Y'all asleep on Burger King coffee. That coffee is way better than Starbucks in my opinion, and it's cheaper. But I only like iced coffee. And when I'm nervous, like on exam days or something like that, when I just can't seem to get with it and I don't have any oatmeal, like today, I get the same thing for breakfast at McDonald's. I go and I get an iced coffee. I get a vanilla iced coffee, and I get their French toast sticks. They usually have coupons there, so I got 5 for $1, so I paid $3 for all this. And it's super mild. Like, it doesn't irritate my stomach, so I know if I get nervous, something like that, I'm not gonna feel the need to throw up or heave, but I still have something sitting in my stomach, so I don't feel so hungry. It's a great breakfast item. I don't know, but this is not something I would eat on a regular, everyday morning. It's more or less something I eat on days when I know I'm going to be nervous, like on an exam day or an interview or something like that. I like them. So I want to say hello to all my classmates that are watching. Thank you for subscribing. You didn't have to, but no one has to. But thank you. Anyways, I will check in with you guys after clinicals, and hopefully today gets better. All right, I'll see you later. Hello guys. So now it is after clinical, and it is currently 7:43, and today was an extremely uneventful day at clinical. I feel like I probably didn't do a whole lot. Yep, so that was today. And as far as tomorrow goes, I can't change what happened today. I can't change the fact that my car was broken into, and that was not my fault. There's nothing I can do about it, but I can change my attitude. I can change my experiences and my feelings to a certain extent. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dwell on all all the good things that have happened to me lately, all the blessings, all the knowledge, all the wisdom. I'm not gonna fret over petty car theft or a broken window, because I have bigger plans. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. I'm sure this won't be the last time someone attempts to try to steal my joy, but like I said, I'm not going to let it affect me, and you shouldn't either if you are ever in a similar situation. And yeah, tomorrow will be a better day, I'm sure of that, and I will see you in the morning.